On March 21st, 1864, two men from Conesus, New York, John Dwayne Scott and George O. Northrop, joined the Union Navy at the Navy office in the city of Rochester. By April 2nd, they were both on their way south to Cairo, Illinois, to join the crew of the newly converted USS Naiad. Naiad was built in 1863 as the small 183-ton stern-wheel steamer Princess. Purchased by the Union Navy in March of 1864 for $32,000, she was converted into a tinclad, a partially armored gunboat, by adding a casemate of 1¼ inches of railroad iron backed by 5 inches of oak. She was armed with 8 24-pounder Dahlgren guns. Naiad was tinclad number 53 of 74 which served in the Union Navy. Most, including the Naiad, were used along the Mississippi and its tributaries, steaming up and down the river from Illinois to Louisiana on long patrols or escorting transport ships carrying soldiers, supplies, and civilians. During one such patrol on June 15, 1864, the ship was operating alongside the captured cotton-clad USS General Bragg, when the General Bragg was fired on by a Confederate shore battery at Ratliff's Landing, Louisiana. 2 12-pounders and a 3-inch ordnance rifle struck the General Bragg with 3 shots to the hull, and a Confederate sharpshooter managed to wound one sailor in the thigh. As the Naiad came alongside to aid the General Bragg, however, she received the full brunt of Confederate attention. Cast iron shells crashed into the Naiad, slamming into her pilot house, tearing the wheel to pieces. More shots hit her on the starboard casemate, piercing the armor and exploding within the hull. One exploded behind the number 3 gun, killing 1 man and wounding 3 more from its crew. Salvation for the 2 stricken Union vessels came in the form of the ironclad monitor Winnebago, which thundered in under full steam. Armed with 4 massive 11-inch Dahlgren guns and 2 heavily armored turrets, she was more than a match for the light Confederate field batteries, forcing their commander, Lieutenant Colonel J.S. Scott, to withdraw. Winnebago placed herself between the 2 Union ships and the shore. She provided cover as Naiad's crew set up block and tackle to replace their shot-away steering cables. As Naiad made for Mound City, upriver, with her hasty repairs, Winnebago took General Bragg under tow, first to Mound City and, when the damage proved too great to repair her there, down to New Orleans. Neither Naiad nor General Bragg would see much in the way of combat again, spending the remainder of the war on quiet patrols. However, Winnebago would shortly thereafter be ordered to Admiral Farragut's West Gulf Blockading Squadron, where she would participate in the Battle of Mobile Bay, helping to capture the Confederate ironclad CSS Tennessee alongside her sister ship, the USS Chickasaw. Naiad would be sold at auction as Princess for $8,400 in 1865. She would hit a snag on the Missouri River and sink in 1868. General Bragg was sold in 1865 as the steamer Mexico. Records of her are lost after being sold again in 1870. Winnebago was mothballed at the end of the war before being sold for scrap in 1874. John Dwayne Scott would survive the war, settling back in Conesus, New York as a farmer, where he would pass away in 1896. George O. Northrop did not survive the war. He drowned in Louisiana on July 27, 1864, in what his shipmates thought was a suicide. This video was made possible by viewers like you. Thank you.